Hello, Dejanay Barrett here again, back with another video. This is my last video for my organizational theory class. Recently got braces, so excuse it. It's fresh. Been 4 days now, so I'm getting used to talking with the braces on. All right, so for this class assignment, I have been prompted with a total of 4 questions. I'm gonna go through them one by one and share my thoughts. So, for the first question, it is why is it important for company leaders to seek employee feedback about their successes and challenges? And what should leaders do with the feedback they obtain? I think it is important for leaders or company leaders to seek employees' feedback and gain their successes and challenges so they can bookmark it, so they can study it, so they can have data on processes and procedures that they go through on a day-to-day basis. It is important to have this information privy to company leaders so they can know what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. So if there's a moment where they're doing something that isn't beneficial for the company, they can go ahead and flip that switch or, ring that alarm so that they can correct it. And opposite of that, if they're doing something that's really successful and benefiting the company, then, continue to pushing forward on that note. So that's how I feel about that question. And what did it say? I feel like it was a two-part question. And what should leaders do with the feedback they obtain? So I did answer the 2 questions with that. All right, so for the second question, it is why is it necessary or desirable for employees to understand how and why a company change is taking place? To what extent do you think to what extent do you think this best practice is actually followed in the real world? All right. I was reading it in my head so I can process that one. So, why is it necessary or desirable for employees to understand how and why a company change is taking place? I trust that it's desirable and it's necessary. So, when decisions are being made, they're informed decisions. They're not something that's not thought out. If you know where the company is going and what changes they are undertaking, then you would, have the knowledge to know which steps you should take and which steps you should refrain from. So, in a sense, essentially, I think it's just best to use that as a tool to pivot and make the right decisions as well. So, and then to what extent do you think this best practice is actually followed in the real world? I trust that it's used in the real world on a day-to-day basis. Like, for example, when someone is choosing a career, for example, let's say someone realizes that the tech is booming, so maybe they didn't have an interest at first, but then they realized, hey, let me get my college degree in technology, because then they would know that their job would be secure and they wouldn't have to worry about seeking jobs, like, in a sense, because they've done their research and they noticed the change in the world, and then they made the choice to pursue it to benefit themselves. So the same with organizations or a company. And that was a good or a great real world example that I could think of. All right, so going into question number 3, do you think that promoting a communal culture is compatible with promoting company diversity? Why or why not? I think that they are both great ways to promote ethics and create a space for work culture. I believe that when an organization embodies both, it enables them to create a space where they can grow and continue to be innovative, and it kind of helps with not, having a one-track mind. It kind of opens the room for creativity. So in my mind, I would say promoting both communal culture and promoting company diversity is a very important thing that organizations must do, because it can help, influence the company in a great way, in my opinion. All right, so for question number 4, do different cultures experience high power or low power distance in business as a reflection of their mode of political governance? Explain your answer. Okay, so going to read that one again. Do different cultures experience high power or low power distance in business as a reflection of their mode of political governance? Explain your answer. Okay, I get it now. All right, so I had to read it twice. All right, so I believe yes. The answer is definitely yes, because it depends on what kind of culture you're in, if it's an authoritative or democratic type of style. That definitely plays a role on the power or low power situation. Authoritative, there's going to be less opinions, because there's going to be authority that kind of hinders others power, so they would have less power to vocalize themselves or feel they can be vocal in a sense. So that would kind of remove that person from that, or they wouldn't even have the confidence to speak on certain matters. And then when you have a democratic environment or culture, of course you're going to be more opinionated, and you're going to have more confidence in stating your opinions. And you know what? You might even have the facts to back it up, because that information might be privy to you in a democratic environment or culture, because in an authoritative one, maybe, certain things, certain resources are not privy to them. So to look at that in a 360 type of view. So that's how I feel about that. But in the big picture in the organizational theory, which I have my book right here, the main goal is to have individual processes, team processes, organizational processes, influence processes, and organizational outcomes. And if you look into this, each one for individual processes, individual differences, emotions and attitudes, perceptions and learning motivation, that goes to number 1. It's important for leaders to seek and know their employees, read the room in a sense, to shorten that. Read the room, read your employees, so you can understand what group, even study them, so you can know what groups work best for the organization, what type of person works, it's these braces, what type of person works best in the environment, like age group, even though you're not supposed to be biased, but sometimes these things matter, like age group, or, just make sure that it's sporadic, like it's all different kinds of ages, to create an atmosphere that is welcoming and that is well cultured, and of course, different races as well. All that comes into play. Team processes, ethics, decision making, creativity and innovation, conflict and negotiation. And as I mentioned, with having different cultures within the company, it makes a difference, because it creates creativity. It creates open-mindedness, because people are now open to things that they have not been, I guess, been exposed to, in other words. So that's a great way to welcome that. Organizational processes, culture, strategy, change, development, structure, and technology. Culture will do that. It definitely does. I am in a company that does that right now in this moment. Like, I can tell it makes a difference. It does create an innovative space because I work at a telecommunications company, and I can tell that it makes a big difference. So influences and processes. So leadership, power, politics, communication. With good leadership, it plays a great role. It makes a difference. It makes employees feel welcomed. It makes them value their jobs, and those are important things that you want to practice, as well as back to number 2, where the question said, why is it necessary or desirable for employees to understand how and why a company change is taking place? You want your employees to be involved, because once they're more involved, they would work harder for that company, or they would have more desire and motivation to do their very best, and which will also in return help the organization or company, of course. So organizational outcomes, straight from the book: individual performance, job satisfaction, team performance, organizational goals. You want to watch the individual's performance. You want to make sure that the employee is satisfied with their job, so you can know if the organization is doing right by their employees. Because, if you can keep an employee, the company is doing something right. Not to say you have to keep every employee that walks through the door, but it says something when you see somebody that's been at a company for 5 to 7 years, or even 3 years. Mostly 5 to 7 sounds better, but 3 years says something to me too as well. So team performance, and if the people know each other for, X amount of time, it creates a family-like atmosphere, even though some people say you shouldn't have a family-like feel at work because it's work, but it makes a difference. You work there, you're there for 8 hours in the day for 5 days out of the week, so I don't see why not. And organizational goals, it just creates the organization, and the organization itself is a group, so you want to feel alignment. You want to create that space of unison, in a sense, when working in an organization, and that is the big picture. As it says here, the big picture, the organizational behavior topics fit together, and it does. All of these questions that were prompted and given to me, there's alignment there in each and every one, so that's something important to look at. But so yeah, that is it for me. I am so grateful for this class. It has been a journey. We're on chapter 14, and it was a fast course at that. So we've been doing modules that were like 3 modules within a week span. So it's been tough. I'm a full-time employee and mother of 2, but I do have support by my partner, my hubby, so that helps a lot too. So it's just been a journey. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll probably do more videos like this, without the class, because this was something that, opened me up in a sense where I get to express myself and analyze what my views are in business, what my views are in my personal life, in a sense, because they do go hand in hand. And studying the tone of things, body language, personalities, all those things, they matter, especially when you are pursuing project management. And that is actually the position I hold now, but it's important to continue to grow in that, so I can boost my abilities and boost my skills. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.